I was debating before I come on this all day. I've been debating this. Do I say this? What I'm seeing at that football club is not Manchester United. The club at the minute is completely broken, and I don't recognise it at all. Right now, I put Ektik in there. Isak has proven in the Premier League he can do that, but he has to go and prove he can do it at Anfield. Different, completely different. The housekeeping trying to get me wrong.
That's my favourite part of the show so far. Not anything you said,
I'm okay, Wayne. For now, thank you.
Ryder Cup weekend then, guys. Wayne, you been watching? You enjoy a bit of golf?
Yeah, I've loved it. I've watched as much as I can last couple of days, and I think it's been brilliant. I thought Justin Rose, incredible. Tommy Fleetwood, fella Scouser. I was actually speaking to Tommy a few weeks ago in a local shop where we both buy our clothes, and so happy for him. He got his big win in the PGA and doing well, obviously, in the Ryder Cup. And then obviously Rory as well, so Europe is smashing them.
Kay, you into your golf? You kind of been just keeping abreast, cheering on Team Europe because they're doing well?
No, I mean, I don't watch golf at all. I'm not gonna come here and lie.
I think I could have guessed that.
I don't know what that means, but all right, thank you.
Let's move on to some of the football then, because I actually thought this has been one of the best weekends of Premier League action for quite some time. The Saturday 3 p.m. kickoffs were bonkers. Well, the early game was really good as well. Maybe not if you're of a Manchester United disposition. I was meaning as a neutral. We'll talk about that later. Let's start off by talking about Arsenal, because they're up to second after coming from behind to win 2-1 late at Newcastle. They're only 2 points behind Liverpool now after they dropped points against Crystal Palace. Kay, we have been banned, haven't we, from using the phrase mark of champions, but there was a fair bit of controversy in that game, but they did it, didn't they? They came from behind and they won.
They came from behind. I mean, if they didn't win that game, there would have been a lot of questions and eyebrows raised. But, you know, fair play to them. Like it went to the wire, and they had a strong comeback, and they did it. That Gabriel header was pretty good. Felt like a game that was big on set pieces, and it feels like that's the team Arsenal have become at the moment.
I just think Arsenal are efficient, and I don't know why. For some reason, I might seem like I'm defending Arsenal on this, and or Mikel Arteta. I think they're efficient. I think they've got a really good squad, and I think they're going to come into something special. And like for instance, if they don't win the game today, a lot of people be sitting there saying, "Oh, it's like points dropped," and I think there's something coming with Arsenal, and I really like what they're doing.
Yeah, psychologically as well, that'll be big, won't it? Because with Liverpool dropping
points,
massive.
I think over the last couple of years, with Arsenal, there's been things which have happened at St James Park, and they haven't quite got to grips, or they haven't come away with the point. And I think this is massive. If you walk into the training ground on Monday morning, Tuesday morning, if they have a day off, whatever that is, I think every Arsenal player, the heads will be high. They'll be really confident.
And also the other thing was they had a bit of adversity as well, didn't they? There was the penalty decision that they thought they should have had. They didn't get it. They then went behind and they still won. And Wayne, I don't know what you think, but there's been a lot said about Arsenal's mentality perhaps in recent years, and maybe a couple of years ago they wouldn't have been able to overcome that.
Yeah, but I think this is a different Arsenal. I think the mentality is good. I think they are a strong minded team. They've got good characters in there, and to win the Premier League, you have to overcome challenges. You have to go to Newcastle and go behind and stay calm, stay relaxed, and find a way to win the game. I think that's what Arsenal done today, and that's what champions do. And for whatever reason, and listen, I don't like Arsenal. But I would much rather them win the league than Liverpool. But I'm really liking what is going on, and even at Anfield when everyone's having a go to them, and I did to a little bit, but I like what they're doing. They're figuring out, they're finding a way. They're being difficult to beat. They don't concede many goals, and I just think there's something happening. And I really hope they do, because I really like Arteta as well, and he's a bit mad in all his methods, but lucky enough to have sat down and have a chat with him at times, and I really like him, so I hope they do.
Wayne, I love how you're maturing into a pundit, because you've said there in a conversation, I don't like Arsenal, So as a fan, you don't like them, and as an ex-player, but you're like, I'm a mature pundit, and I'm going to say that I hope they do well, and I like Mikel Arteta.
No, I will listen. I'd much rather them win the league than
Yeah,
Liverpool. And
fair.
I think City will challenge. So if it's City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, then
Best of a bad bunch if it can't be United.
yeah, exactly. Well, it won't be. It definitely won't be United. That's for sure.
I was trying to be nice. Is that dislike for Arsenal kind of from the United rivalry years ago when you were playing?
Not really. I think I come at the back end. Obviously, I was involved in the Roy Keane and Vieira situation, but I think I was a little bit. I always liked Tottenham growing up, so that was probably it. But no, listen, we've challenged against them. We've tried to compete with them, and then Arsenal went away, and then we had Chelsea, and then we had Liverpool, then Man City. But yes, I don't think as a player, I don't think you really like anyone, any team, if that makes sense, and you don't want anyone to do well. And there's always new teams who will come and compete. So you don't want anyone to win, but if you can choose one, then you want to choose the right one. So it's not a Liverpool, it's not Man City.
Bringing it back to the here and now, you won't mind talking about this, I'm sure. Liverpool suffering their first defeat of the season.
Come on.
Yeah, that was a wicked laugh, K-Curd. We've said it a few times, and Wayne, you've said, like, they haven't been at their absolute best, but they've still been getting results, and they had a 100% record until yesterday. What do you think went wrong, or do we just literally need to pay credit to Crystal Palace and how good they were?
I think two things. I think firstly, Crystal Palace, what is happening there over the last year is brilliant. And it's great to see. I remember back in 1995 when Everton won the FA Cup. That is my standout, my only moment as a fan to enjoy and celebrate my team winning silverware. So, and then I was there doing in TV for the game, and it brought memories back, and watching them celebrate, speaking to the manager, speaking to the owner, and then how they've continued with everything what's gone on, losing players and nearly losing the captain. I think they've been incredible. So I think that's the first thing. And the second thing, I think the sending off to Ekitike is bigger than what people think. I think he's a superstar, and I think he can affect Liverpool in so many different ways. And of course, you've got Isak, and I think Ekitike. I think that loss was massive.
I think it's worth slapping £20 on Crystal Palace winning the league, There's crazier things have happened.
I wouldn't go that far.
It is a bit of a crazy league, though, isn't it? Like Sunderland up. I mean, I know it's only September.
Yeah, no, it is only September, and it is a bit tongue-in-cheek, but wilder things have happened. But I do think the way Oliver Glasner's got them organised and playing, and there's a lot of momentum around them, the fan base is buoyant. The way you were talking about Arsenal, I think there's something special going on at Palace right now as well. And anytime you watch them, they do make it difficult for people to try and beat them.
But that's like, I don't want to go back to it, but that's when I look at Man United and I'm like, I'm watching Crystal Palace play through the back, and I'm like, this looks incredible, looks brilliant. There's flair, there's fight, there's desire, there's crosses coming into the box, there's shots, there's tackles going in, there's everything you want to see. And then when I watch Man United playing the same system, I'm like, what is this? No, like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the system, and where we've said, change the system. The system works. We've seen that teams have won things with that system, but.
So what do you think it is, Wayne? Is it misprofiling players in that system, or is it that they've got better midfielders? What is it, do you think, that's the difference between the two?
If we go back to, I think, week one of us doing this podcast, I said the midfield cannot compete in the Premier League. And that might sound strange because you've got Bruno Fernandes and you've got Casemiro. They could not compete in this Premier League as a two. It doesn't work. And as a coach, as a manager, as a player, them players will know that. Yeah. Them players will see that and understand that. And as a manager, you have to be adaptable. You have to change. We've seen it with Wolves last night. They changed the system. They go and get a point to Tottenham. You have to be ready for whatever happens in the game. And if you're stubborn and you sit there and you say, right, this is it, this is our system, before you know it, you'll be gone and the club will change.
Yeah, but I think what you said as well about the desire as well, I think when you look at that Palace team, all of them there want to run. They want to fight. They're doing everything correctly. Whereas I think sometimes when you see the United players, there are mistakes being made that shouldn't be made at the top level.
Mistakes happen, so the players, I think, care. I've never questioned the players of that. I just don't think they're good enough.
A word on Oliver Glasner then, because I mean he's being touted around. He's had a phenomenal time there. I was working with a Palace fan last night, and I said, "Is he the best manager in your history?" And he looked at me as if to say, "I can't believe you're even asking that." Of course he is. What do you like about him, Wayne?
I've met him a couple of times. And I just think he's a genuine person, and I don't think it's just down to him. I think the club. I think what they've done, Crystal Palace over the last 10 years. I think they've recruited really well, and I think it goes down to where they're bringing players from. They're bringing players who are hungry, with desire, who've got something to gain and got something to look forward to and fight. And they're bringing players from the street. Because the Palace of over the last 10 years has reminded me of a street football club. When you look at all the players and they come and go, and it's still produced them players, and where the background where them players are from, they can look and say, he's from our neighbourhood, he's from our estate, and they continue to do that, and I don't think they've gone away from their values. So I think that's really important and special. But I think what they've got now is a manager who knows how to win trophies. He's done it in different countries. He's done it in England now with the FA Cup. I think it's going to be very difficult for Palace to keep him.
I think what you said about the structure is really, really important. Steve Parish was quoted in 2015 saying that Palace could compete for the Premier League in the next 10 to 15 years, and lo and behold, in 10
You're
years
really
they've
clinging
won
on
an
to
FA
that,
Cup.
aren't you?
When you've got owners that have ambition like that, it does go a long way. And they've been very smart with the way they buy players and recruit players. Like they knew somebody like Elise was a top player, and they got him to sign a new contract because they knew that potentially they weren't going to be able to get hold of him. So they maximised their investment and they were able to get the most money for him that they could. And I just think he's smart with the way he does things. The recruitment's been top notch as well, and they've been able to highlight a manager that that's doing amazing for them, and they're quite ruthless as well with getting rid of
I always
managers.
think Palace. If you look at the Palace team and squad, it represents the area where they are.
Yeah,
and I think that's great. And I think you can see that, and that's been going on for a number of years now. And I was delighted when they won the FA Cup. So we look at Bilbao in Spain, where they only have players who were born or from that area. I think Palace, obviously, it's not to that extent, but I think you're seeing like young, hungry players from around that area coming through and maybe going on to different clubs, but really giving Palace a lift, and the fans a lift. And I think it's real. At the minute, I think I'd much rather be at Crystal Palace right now.
Also, a penny, Wayne, for what Mark Gahey might be thinking, because obviously from the disappointment of missing out on his move to Liverpool, I imagine that will have felt quite sweet on Saturday.
He's in a great position. I think he's okay. I've heard a lot of people, and I've actually thought about this. I've heard a lot of people saying, he's acted with class. He showed obviously what Isak done and Wirtz done, and he's acted with class. So what he's done is he's probably gone into the owner, to the manager, and said, "Listen, I want to leave. If this club comes in, I want to leave." But he's just gone in and trained. He's gone in and been a teammate, which you have to do. You can't say, "Right, I want to leave," and not turn up for a week or 2 weeks. He's done his job, which he gets paid to do, and that's all he's done. So I think he's gonna. I think he's a special player. I think he's a good size. He's not the tallest, but he's good in the air. He can play with both feet. He's aggressive, and I think he'd be a real top player in the next few years. And Will he be at Palace? I really doubt it.
Where would you go if you were Mark Gahey, though? Where would you go?
It definitely not Liverpool. Definitely. No, listen. I think he'll have options. I think not just in England as well. I think in Europe he'll have options.
Yeah, I'd love for him to go to Madrid or something, man.
I've just got a feeling Arsenal and Chelsea might come in and they might try and take Liverpool out of it. But Liverpool is, for me, the best city in the world. So if he does join, that's where he'll be going. Enjoy everything about Liverpool, but I just hope he doesn't, because I think he'll improve them.
Just a quick word on Florian Wirtz before we move on. Big summer signing for Liverpool, cost around £100 million plus some add-ons as well. 6 Premier League games so far. What have you made of his start to Life at Anfield?
Yeah, it's been tough for him. I don't think there's any denying that. And he'll be searching deep within himself to try and fix that and trying to figure it out. I think he's played okay and better, but I think when you sign so many players and like Liverpool have, and it's not, this is not normal for Liverpool. Liverpool don't normally do this, and they've signed basically a whole new front line, and then you've got Mo Salah there as well. So they're all competing, they all want to do well, they're all fighting against each other to get the team. And I think Wirtz is he's the one who's probably not doing as well, but he's got so much ability, and for me, I don't see where he gets to the team. I think it was a lot of money. I think it was I would have went for Ekitike and Isak. I think Wirtz actually damages the balance of Liverpool, how they play him. But he's a top player, and I'm sure he will get better, of course he will. But he's had a slow start, and I think there's no denying it.
On that, I think with a lot of like players that go for massive money, I think we're too quick to judge them these days. I mean, look, I'm not a Liverpool fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I've seen what the pressure on big money signings does. So, like, for example, with Harry Maguire or with Paul Pogba, people used to bring up their price tag, and anytime they had a bad performance, they used to just get hammered in immediately. It's like, well, they didn't decide to go for that sort of money.
Yeah, but I don't think you actually, when I signed for Man United, I actually didn't have a clue what the final payment was. That is actually nothing to do with me.
Do players not care about that?
I'm sure some do and some don't. And for me, that's two clubs doing business. That's it.
Well, that's right, Wayne. But when pundits are hammering you, like Paul Pogba, I remember there was one game where he assisted like 2 or 3 assists in a game, and they said, well, that's what you expect from a player with that fee. And it was like, if he didn't reach those benchmarks, they used to hammer him every week. Whereas I think that's a bit unfair. It's a tad bit unfair as well. Like players like Harry Maguire had the same thing. I think with Florian Wirtz, you give him, I think let him see out the season, and then we can start.
Yeah, no, of course. And players, it takes time for players. I've seen players come into this league, and it takes time. For me, it's not the price tag. It's not the player and his ability. I don't see where he fits into what Liverpool do in that system.
I agree. Yeah.
So, is he a third midfield player? For me, no. He's more of an attacking player. So, if I had to choose between him and Szoboszlai, then I choose Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
So, I think if you change the system around, I think it'd be different. And why would you do that if you're Liverpool? Obviously, they lost the last game, but so I think that's a bit unfortunate, and that's where I'm saying Liverpool have signed these players who you can't play them all, and if you try and put them all on the team, it could cause problems. It can cause friction between players, and I've seen it happen. Ekitike 1,000,000% is in competition with Isak.
But do you think this is where Slot's man management is going to come into it? Because I already saw at the press conference at the end of the game, he's already blaming some of his players for like publicly.
Well, that's what Dutch managers do. They're honest with you, and they'll say if it's good or bad. And but what you've got now is you've got a real competition between two forwards who are slightly different, Ekitike and Isak. And who wants it more? Who's gonna do that a little bit more. Who's going to score the goals? Who's going to create goals? In right now, I put Ektik in there. Isak has proven in the Premier League he can do that. But he has to go and prove he can do it at Anfield. Different, completely different. Going to Anfield and playing in front of that crowd and the history and the atmosphere and the pressure of going to play at Anfield, completely different. Ekitike has took it quite quickly. Everything I've seen at the minute, Isak has not been able to do that so quickly. I'm sure when he gets fit, that'll change. But at the minute, the house.
That's my favourite part of the show so far. Not anything you said.
I'm okay for now, thank you.
Just to clarify, Wayne, you're not at home. You don't have housekeeping at home, do you?
No, I don't. But
that's hilarious.
She's persistent though.
Okay, well, on that note, let's move on. I've often referred to this show as being a bit like therapy for you two Manchester United fans. All of a sudden, Wayne's camera went a bit dodgy, and I thought he was going to pretend that his line had gone and he didn't want to talk about this. I think both of you actually brought it up within the Palace chat without any prompting at all, so you're obviously ready to talk about it.
I could give you about 30 seconds. I mean, we don't need to repeat everything we've repeated for weeks on end, do we, Wayne?
I was debating whether to talk about it or not, because I don't really want to, because I know I end up saying something I shouldn't, but then I feel like, do I have to? Like, it's just not good enough from the manager, from the coaches, from the players. It's not good enough in the record, the points, the style of play, the system. The fans then say that are we picking up points? Are we? I don't know what's going on. And listen, I've tried my hand in management and didn't work out too well. So I get it. I'm not. Ruben Amorim is he's my age.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit younger. I get that, but he's still a young manager. I'm sure he's got a massive future. And but what is going on at Man United? This is not Man United. I don't recognise the whole football club. I don't see players fighting. I don't see character. I don't see desire to win. I don't see ability. I don't see match winners. Nothing gets me off my feet. I go into a game watching, expecting, okay, here we go again, expecting the team to lose or maybe pick up a point. This is not Man United.
But do you know what? That's so important that you say that. Nowadays, I don't even get surprised when we lose, and it's just more like you start just shrugging your shoulders and go, "Yeah, we've lost again." And that's look how far we've fallen. That shouldn't be like that.
But then, like I was debating before I come on this all day. I've been debating this. Do I say this? Shall I say it? Because I know it's going to bring pressure and it's going to go into media and it's going to get picked up and the manager's going to get asked questions about it. But I feel I need to. I care for the club. I was at the football club for 13 years and what is going on is not right.
Yeah.
And this is not all on the manager, by the way. I'm seeing players not deserving to wear that shirt, and it hurts. When you've been in a football club for that long and you care for the club, this is not acceptable. What is going on? And Man United haven't won back-to-back games for I don't know how long.
Since January.
I think there needs to be a clear message from the owners. Whether that's the Glazers, whether that's Ratcliffe, there has to be a message of where this club is going, because at the minute we're all sitting there waiting for it to crumble.
Well, even last week I said I'd lost faith in the manager, and you were telling me to stay positive. But it's like even
I know. I was trying to give you all heads up.
He did just say just enjoy the win because they don't.
No, I know. But it's hard when you even in a game where you win, you still see things where you're like, if it was another day, we're going to lose. And then lo and behold, the Brentford game happened, and it's just the same things keep happening again.
Who is this team?
Yeah,
and like. If you said to me, like, there's a blank piece of paper, give me an identity, show me what this team is, what it means, I would not have a clue what to put down. And I'm not seeing anything which is giving me any confidence that's going to change. There needs to be changes, there need to be big changes, in my opinion.
Do you mean not just the manager, you mean above that? And I suppose it's something that...
Manager, players, whatever that is, whatever it takes to get Manchester United back to, and I'm not stupid. it's not going to change in a heartbeat, but the culture of that football club is gone. I see it on a daily basis. The culture is gone. That's from.
What do you mean by that, Wayne?
Well, I see staff losing jobs, people walking out of jobs. And listen, I've got 2 kids at that football club, and I really hope this doesn't affect what they're doing. What I'm seeing at that football club is not Manchester United. When you go back to Munich 58, then you win the European Cup in 68, and Busby and Alex Ferguson, that is Manchester United. The passion, the desire, the fight, the heart, the culture, everything about that club. The club at the minute is completely broken, and I don't recognise it at all.
I think the reason it's also come into focus this weekend, sorry Wayne, is because obviously Graham Potter was sacked, and I think there's been a lot of comparisons between Potter's record at West Ham to Amorim at Manchester United. Amorim's record is 32 points in 35 games, 21 games lost in less than a year, never won consecutive Premier League games. West Ham have picked up more points than Manchester United since Amorim came in.
Do you know what the worst part about this is? We didn't even have a new manager bounce. This went straight into misery.
Do you know if this was Mourinho, you'd probably sit there and say, okay, we know he can probably get us out of it, or he'll figure it out. And I don't think any of us can sit there and say that. Honestly, after everything you just said, I honestly hope he can turn it around, and he does. But if you're saying to me, do you believe he will? Then after everything I've seen, I honestly, I've got no faith in it.
Well, that's what what you said there is key, Wayne. It's like every stat that you see, all the evidence stacks up against him, and the only things that you have to keep faith are all hypothetical. And it's like you can't deal with hypotheticals in this game. You need to start seeing results.
It's not even just the results on the pitch, mate. I think it's everything about the club at the minute.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And it needs fixing. And Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos have walked into a big challenge, and we're seeing staff members getting sacked after 20, 30 years, and who are very important people to that football club. And that soul has gone from the club. It needs a new energy. It needs a new lease of life, and it needs something to kickstart that football club. Go and put Roy Keane right in the heart of that dressing room. Go and put Paul Scholes right in the heart of that dressing room.
Wayne Rooney?
I'd go straight in there and but go and put these people in that dressing room and show people the what this club is, what it means. I never grew up a Man United fan. I grew up an Everton fan, but I spent that much time at the football club. My family, over like my 2 children now at the football club, I've been involved in that club for over 20 years. And what we're seeing, it hurts. Only my eldest boy has seen Man United win a Premier League title. My second boy is nearly 13. My kids don't know what Man United is being successful. I want them to see that.
Yeah. Get that.
So I could go on all day. And
I tell you what, Wayne, let's try and end on a positive, and happier times for Kay as well. It's 21 years today, Sunday, since your debut for Manchester United against Fenerbahce. Firstly, does that make you feel old because it wasn't meant to? Secondly, are the memories still as vivid to this day?
Yeah, in the dressing room, I always remember sitting there in the dressing room, but once I was on the pitch, then it becomes a bit of a blur. So before the game, in the dressing room, and then after the game, I was actually living in a hotel at the time, the Old Edge Hotel, and it was weird. I went back after the game and at the match ball, it was like, what just happened? I just got a hat-trick for Man United on my debut. So yeah, it was weird feeling, proud moment, and scary as well, I suppose. Like going into the game, I was nervous, I was scared. I was a Scouser, 18-year-old Scouser going to play for Man United.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen all the time. So yeah, there was loads of different emotions, but ultimately proud.
What was your favourite of the 3 goals?
Obviously, I like the third one being a free kick, but I think the first one, And even being honest, I had no idea it was going to be left foot. I just started.
Well, that's what I love about that game, though. It was left foot, right foot, and a free kick. It was like a
Yeah,
perfect
so
hat-trick.
sometimes with your left foot, you just try and get a good contact. But the first one, just that release of like, I'm here. I think that was my favourite.
Yeah, and what was it like in the aftermath of that? Because you said going back to the hotel was weird. Waking up the next morning, like sometimes if you've had a really good night out or something's happened, the next day it's almost a bit like, did that really happen? Did you feel like that?
Yeah, it was that was my first ever. Well, scored hat-tricks as a kid, but that was my first hat-trick as a professional player, and yeah, it was mad. It was weird, and I don't think people realised how tough it was being a Scouser to play for Man United. It's a big deal. It's a tough thing, and you had to embrace it. You had to throw yourself into it. And, I went into that club with everything I had. I think the fans can see that. My teammates can see that from the minute I went in. And if you didn't, it could be very difficult. Like for instance, I know they play for different clubs. If you ask Steven Gerrard or Carragher, would you play for Man United? There's no chance. And you ask some Everton players, Scouse lads, who they wouldn't do it just because the Liverpool Manchester thing. So I've done it. I took the challenge, and yeah, I'm proud. And I've been in Manchester since. I'm a very, very proud man from Liverpool.
You've mentioned it a few times today.
Yeah, no, I am, but I've actually lived in Cheshire, Manchester side more than I have in Liverpool, so but I'm still Scouse.
Okay, that's where we'll leave it today, guys. The housekeeping lady can come in, Wayne. You can tell her that you can have your room clean now. Kay, have a good week wherever you... Is she gone? She's gone.
I think so.
Kay, have a good week. Where's the tour this week?
I'll be in Scotland. I'm in Glasgow, Edinburgh. Then I'm in Newcastle, York, and Manchester. So,
up north.
Yeah, next Sunday I'm in Manchester, so I'll either see you guys in person or I'll be doing this backstage. So
yes, yeah. We're hoping to make that one. So looking forward to it. Okay, well, we'll be back before then. We'll be back on Friday. And a reminder, as always, you can watch the Wayne Rooney Show on the BBC Sport YouTube and iPlayer, or you can listen on BBC Sounds.